All right, it says find the derivative of y with respect to x. That's what dy dx is. So just find the derivative of this. But they want us to do this in two different ways. The first method, use the quotient rule and simplify your answer. The second method, they want you to simplify this function first and take the derivative. So let's do it in two different ways. But the goal is to take the derivative, right? So the answer should be the same no matter which method we use. But I'm going to divide up my paper in half so that I can do two different methods, okay? So on the left side, let me do this using the quotient rule. Quotient rule. Remember how that goes, right? You will have g squared in the bottom. But on top of the fraction, you'll have gf prime minus fg prime. So that is the quotient rule to find y prime. Okay? So let me label my f and g and f prime and g prime. There are four pieces to this quotient rule. F is the top of the fraction, which is that. So I'll write down f is x squared plus 4x plus 3. Let's take the derivative of this using power rule. F prime is 2x plus 4, right? Now g is the bottom of the fraction. So look, g is x plus 1. So g equals x plus 1. Find g prime. The derivative of x plus 1 is just 1. It's 1 plus 0, but it's just 1. Now I got my four pieces. All I need to do is plug them into the right place, okay? So let's find the derivative y prime. On top of the fraction, let me do the bottom first, okay? The denominator is easy. The denominator is g squared. Here is g. So write down x plus 1 squared. All right, let's see what goes on top of the fraction. Start with g. Start with g. G is x plus 1. Okay, all right, you know what? Let me try something. So this is going to be written down first. G times what? F prime. And F prime is this right there. Okay, so I'll multiply that x plus 1 by this. And then what? Minus sign. To the minus sign. And let's put f now. F is this trinomial, right? So put that trinomial next. Oh no, I'm out of room. Let me erase this line. And then I need to put the last piece of the puzzle, which is g prime. And g prime is just, oh, look at that, just 1. If it's multiplying by 1, I don't really have to put 1 there, so I'll just not write it. Now let us simplify that numerator. I'm going to FOIL this first piece. Okay, so y prime equals, let's do that multiplication, 2x squared plus 4x plus 2x plus 4. So I FOILed it out. And then let me get this out of this parenthesis. Everything inside this, like all of them used to be positive inside, right? But when you distribute this negative in, everything's negative. Minus, minus, minus everywhere. Okay. All over, the denominator is x plus 1 squared. All right, let's see if we have any like terms that we can combine for the numerator. Maybe if I combine the like terms, the fraction bar doesn't have to be that long. All right, let's see. So there is 2x squared, and there is 1x squared, but that's subtracting. So if I do 2 minus 1, that's going to be 1, right? So I'll get 1x squared when I combine these grays together. All right, what's next? There is positive 4x, and there is negative 4x. Ooh, I thought the x's are canceled out, but look, there is also 2x there. So if you combine these three like terms highlighted in green, 4 and -4 cancels out, but you still have 2x. All right, let's combine the constants now. So I have what? Plus 4 and minus 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So I wrote it down like this. All right, let's try to see if we can simplify this a little more, okay? What's the numerator? I think the numerator can be factored. Isn't this x plus 1 times x plus 1? Because look, 1 times 1 will give you this 1 in the middle. And if I add 1 plus 1, I will get this 2x in the middle. So this is correct. And look at the denominator. The denominator is x plus 1 squared, which means x plus 1 times x plus 1, right? Look, we're dividing something by itself. The bottom of the fraction and the top of the fraction, they're the same. So what's that equal to? 1. So the derivative is simply 1, okay? And we did this using the quotient rule, okay? You know what? I'm going to try to do it the other way around. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. They said, how about you simplify the function first and then differentiate it? So let's see. Can I simplify this y first? The bottom of the fraction is x plus 1. Well, let's see if we can factor this. Let's try to factor this first. This factors into 3 times 1 equals 3, but if you add them together, wouldn't that be 4, right? So that's how we can factor this. And notice what happens over here. The x plus 1 cancels out. So what we got is y is really just equal to x plus 3, okay? If you take the derivative of this using power rule, guess what that is? Y prime is 1. So, which method was easier? Okay, which method was definitely easier? I think simplifying first. See, we did this in two different ways. If we could, and I try that. So I try to avoid quotient rule every time I see a quotient. Like, I know quotient rule will work for quotients, but it's little, the simplifying the numerator is just a lot of work. So if you can simplify first and use a different rule, that may be a little bit easier too. But that was an example of finding the derivative of a rational function.